I think it's about time that I took a look at what I think is probably another level 4 or level 5 difficulty metal logo. I definitely haven't been putting this off for the sake of my own mental well-being. The only hint I was given was that there are 2 words here, so that's a good start. I'm basically removing what I think is not a letter form. So far, I see an E at the end here, what I think might be an M here. This has got to be an S. I'm gonna have to have a talk with someone otherwise. This also might be an E. I haven't made all too much progress despite having removed a considerable amount of what I think is inconsequential fluff. I'm not sure if they're supposed to be the positive space or the negative space. Like, for example, this S has like a pretty solid outline, so I'm not sure like which part of the form to focus on. I'm seeing a Y, but it looks like there's what could be another E here and maybe an F up here. I guess A, that would make the most sense with what's going on here. Yaff. I may end up taking out some stuff that's critical to figuring out what this thing says. Well, these noodles are really getting to me. I'll never be able to look at a bowl of spaghetti the same way. Seriously, what is good? I don't know what of anything here is attached. There's this right here, which I can only assume in its current state is an O, or maybe even an X. K? No idea. H? I'm coming up on what I think might be rage or mage or something. Might be wishful thinking that this is a G because I'm not really sure what this stroke is right here. And then this E has multiple things in the middle here. Forgetting my type terminology. That's deplorable. So I got A, G. Yeah, I'm not quite seeing the first letter here. The problem I've come across is that I know there are 2 words, but there's very slowly a middle row of letters forming here, which would indicate a 3rd word. I don't think they would take 1 word and break it into multiple lines. That would be sinister. I should also mention that I know this band is from, I think it was Missouri. They're from the United States, so I'm going to assume that this is not in another language. Yeah, whatever's going on here is not making sense at all. It has been over an hour, and I still have no clue what the first letter of the band's name is, which is a great sign. Yeah, I'm kind of convinced this last word here, or the second word, is rage. There might be an additional letter. This might be an M. This might, I don't know. Maybe I should try rotating it. I think I'm gonna have to take a break for dinner here and come back to this when I have received sustenance. All right, now that my brain's received sufficient nourishment, let's see what I can make of this thing. This might just be the bottom of the E here. Really got to do something with whatever's going on at the front end of this. I'm very inclined to believe that this second word or second letter is in... No, never mind. I'm not very inclined to believe anything. I was beginning to see an M over here. That might be a stretch. Try the old flip hort. Oh, I should do that to the entire image. Hold on. This didn't help last time. It does not appear to be helping this time. Okay. Well, what if we blurred it first? Blur, God. No, don't lens blur it. God, why? I think it's Gaussian. I'm pronouncing it horribly because that's always how I've pronounced it in my head. That might have actually done something. Still not getting very far past where I was already. Oh, bother. Maybe if I blend that somehow. Oh yeah, that's so helpful. Oh, is that an S instead of a G? I just totally whiffed that. Bring it around town. S? I'm pretty sure the last letter of each word is an E. I don't know how many words there are that end in U, Y, U, E. That's assuming this is a Y. Like, even that filter, combination of filters I applied, is not helping me with this. I still want to read this as an R. I think that's just me wanting this whole bottom thing just to be rage. So are there 2 S's here then? If this is an O, then there's something under it that might, maybe it's a K, but I don't know what order to read that in. I'm gonna try zooming out as well. Give me something, please. Come on, brain. Do your pattern recognition thing that you're so good at. Actually, I think that's why I'm having so much trouble with this. The name Primitive Rage just popped into my head, and I'm not sure if that's because I've seen this logo before, heard the band's name before. So let's see what we can do to wedge Primitive. Okay, we got the M. No, but there's the S here. That's got to be an S. There's no way it's not an S. It does kind of make sense, though, because I was thinking that this might be an I. Now that knocks out my Y theory. Well, full disclosure, between now and when I stopped looking at this logo previously, I may or may not have come across the band's name online when doing research for another episode of Deciphering Metal Logos, so I know the name, which is great and all, but now I need to actually fit it into the logo. Earlier in the recording, by complete coincidence, I guessed Primal Rage, which is very close to the band's name. Not exact. Actually, that's a band, but not this one, and also Winston's alt from Overwatch, so I assume that's where it came from in my brain. The band's name is Primitive Rage, which is a little bit better, because that gives me more characters to fit into this jumble of complete nonsense going on at the top here. I'm still at a complete loss as to what is going on here. I was so convinced this is an S, and apparently it's not. Wow, I don't know what I was trying to do there. Okay. It's been like almost a week since I stopped looking at this. Okay, so I was right about this E at the end. Then I was right about Rage in its entirety. If y'all can tell, I don't really use this drawing tablet all too often. In fact, the only reason I've pulled it out recently is for all this Deciphering Metal Logo stuff, and it's actually come in very handy. I gotta say that Blood Incantations logo was surprisingly easy. Like, it looks like a total frickin' mess, but compared to this, it's a cakewalk. Is this all part of the G here? And then the R could be here. Okay, so we know the E. I don't know what this whole area is supposed to be. I guess it's just, you know, just decorative. It's going to say we now know that this is the V, but I'm actually not so convinced. Definitely an M. I guess this is just the I. No, that's right. Yeah, okay, so this is the T that just has a big kind of curved top to it. All of this here is just not even supposed to be there. There's the third I. It's all coming together, connecting the dots. Yeah, doing this makes me feel like a conspiracy theorist. It's the same line of thinking as conspiracy theorists, like just finding patterns that happen to relate to what they want those patterns to mean. This whole area here is supposed to be PRI. I just gotta take a deep breath. Hello? It just doesn't stop going. Like, does that, can I say that's an R? Like, if you actually follow the paths defined by these lines, none of it makes any sense. The P, yeah, I guess I could see it. You want me to believe that there's a frickin' I? And so not only is there a whole lot of extra nonsense, a lot of the letters have like really long extensions of various components. I see a vague M form in here, and it's making me question everything. Okay, let's just operate under that assumption that the M is really funky. That is all attached to the R. Now, the M's gotta be here. Is there like an accent or some other character in this word? That looks a lot more like a Y than it does a T. Then again, most of the letters in this thing don't look like the letters they're supposed to represent, so I can't say I'm surprised. This P is immensely questionable. Could the T be lowercase? Would that fix any problems? Nope. I know these things are supposed to show a blatant disregard for graphic design and legibility and everything that graphic design stands for, but this is taking it to the next level. Yeah, and then there's like subsquiggles. Look at that. I'm not including that in my interpretation. It's just going to confuse people. I can outline all of the lines in here and then just eliminate the parts of the lines that are not relevant, which is a lot. Oh, look up the solution. Primitive Rage logo. How to read. Primitive Rage logo interpretation. Primitive Rage band? That's the name of the band, is it not? I love that all of these are terribly low resolution thanks to Facebook. Are they on Spotify? How many monthly listeners do they have? I don't think this band is big enough to have other interpretations online. That's really concerning. I'm totally on my own here. And I'm not, this is not doing it for me. I'm gonna leave this here and come back to it. Hopefully I'll be able to make some adjustments next time I look at it, because this is not very convincing. So, update on Primitive Rage. I did, in fact, get in touch with the band via Instagram. They redirected me towards their graphic designer, who, upon seeing exactly what you see on the screen here, gave me the big thumbs up stamp of approval. So, that was kind of anticlimactic. I don't know how else to end off this video other than to say, like, I'm right, woohoo. I guess I can offer my 2 cents in on some of this. I don't even have my drawing tablet plugged in. This is embarrassing. Let me see what the designer sent me again. This R is still unbelievably big. That's a T, so we can knock this whole strand off. So we can take these parts out too. No, you know, that makes sense for the R. It doesn't make sense for the P at all. Yeah, I guess I'll just go letter by letter now. P, I can understand. R, absurdly long, but it's there. Really throws off the whole rhythm of the rest of the logo, because you wouldn't expect this much space to be occupied by one letter. I don't know what to say about this I, other than that it still looks like an S to me, as I'm sure it would to any other sane human being with an understanding of the Latin alphabet. M is there. Next I, yep, definitely. T, it's a really big stretch. I don't know what is happening in here, but it's not relevant apparently, so you just have to take out a whole chunk. I mean, it might as well be the same as the R here. Like, you don't need this. You don't need this. So there's this big area underneath it that's just noodles. It's definitely better than the S, I'll say that. B, yeah. E, okay. R, the second R is also kind of a stretch, just because it's kind of symmetrical, which would lead me to believe it's an uppercase A. This A is pretty clear. G, also sort of, I mean, I don't know what else it would be, so yeah, I guess it's a G. And then the last E, once again, sure, yeah, I'll give it to you. I should have just gone with my gut feeling. As soon as I came up with that name, I should have just gone for it, apparently, because I would have been right. This has been a roller coaster from start to finish, and not a complete roller coaster either, because it seems to have ended in a complete and utter disaster. Like I said earlier, these logos aren't really designed in a way that concerns any sort of graphic design principle. In fact, I think they actively disregard them. At any rate, it looks cool. And in the end, I think that's all that matters. Okay, I think I've done that enough. I need to stop recording. It's been 25 minutes.